In 1916, a group of 35 men gathered for a meeting that would forever change the course of golf in America. That meeting, held at Rodman Wanamaker's Taplow Club in New York City on January 17th, set in motion the formation of the country's first professional golf organization. These charter members forged the foundation for what would eventually become the PGA Tour, shaping the game into the professional spectacle we know today. But what drove a department store magnate like Wanamaker to bring these men together in the first place? The answer starts with a simple luncheon and a vision for golf's future. The luncheon that started it all. Rodman Wanamaker's decision to host a luncheon at the Taplow Club on January 17, 1916, was no casual affair. As a department store magnate, Wanamaker was used to bringing order to chaos, and he saw an opportunity to do the same for golf. He invited a mix of golf professionals and leading amateurs, including names like Walter Hagen and A.W. Tillinghast, to discuss what the sport needed to reach the next level. At that time, America's golf scene was fragmented. Professional players had little structure to support their careers. Tournaments were rare and inconsistent, and there was no single organization to advocate for the interests of those who made their living from the game. Wanamaker's vision went beyond simply gathering the game's best minds. He wanted to create an organization that could unify professionals, standardize competition, and help the sport grow. The professionals who attended the luncheon faced real challenges: limited opportunities, uncertain income, and a lack of recognition. Without a national body, even the most talented players struggled to find steady work or gain respect outside their local club. The contrast between Wanamaker's world, where systems and promotion drove business success, and the disjointed state of professional golf was clear. He believed that, with the right structure, golf could thrive, and professionals could finally have a platform worthy of their talent. The luncheon's discussions focused on what a national organization could accomplish. Attendees debated how to raise the profile of professionals, how to create more opportunities for competition, and how to ensure that the sport was accessible to a broader audience. Wanamaker didn't just talk. He backed up his commitment with resources. He pledged financial support to get the new association off the ground, and proposed a national championship to give professionals a stage to showcase their skills. To make it tangible, he offered up a handsome trophy and a significant purse, both of which would attract attention and lend credibility to the new event. Within 3 months of that Taplow Club luncheon on January 17th, Wanamaker and 35 charter members formally launched the Professional Golfers Association of America on April 10, 1916. The PGA's mission was straightforward: promote the game, support the professionals who taught and played it, and elevate golf's reputation across the country. This new organization wasn't just for the handful of top competitors. It aimed to benefit the entire network of club professionals who taught lessons, managed courses, and kept the game alive in communities everywhere. Wanamaker's financial backing didn't stop with the founding of the PGA. That October, Jim Barnes claimed the inaugural PGA Championship at Sewanoi Country Club in Bronxville, New York, taking home the Wanamaker Trophy and a substantial prize. This event quickly became a highlight of the golf calendar, raising the stakes for professionals and showing the public that the game could deliver high-level competition and drama. The championship was more than just a tournament. It was proof that the PGA's vision could work. The early days of the PGA were filled with energy and ambition, but also plenty of uncertainty. The professionals who joined the new association were stepping into uncharted territory. They had a governing body and a major tournament, but the challenges of organizing a national sport were only beginning. Financial pressures, shifting social attitudes, and the unpredictable nature of competition all played a part in shaping what the PGA would become. As the PGA's story moved forward, the excitement of these first championships and the personalities who emerged from them would define the early years. The unpredictable nature of the tournaments, the surprising victories, and the colorful strategies of players like Walter Hagen set the tone for a new era in professional golf. The foundation was in place, but the real test was just beginning. The early years: passion, competition, and chaos. The early years of the PGA Championship were anything but predictable. From the outset, passion and rivalry drove the competition, and the atmosphere was often marked by a sense of organized chaos. The championship's match play format, which lasted from 1916 through 1957 before moving to stroke play in 1958, set the stage for intense head-to-head battles. Every match was a direct contest of nerves and skill, with no guarantee of who would come out on top. The very first champion, Jim Barnes, won the 1916 event and took home a $500 prize, a significant sum for the time. That victory helped legitimize professional golf, showing that the new organization could deliver a serious national-level competition. But the excitement didn't end with the first champion. Over the next decade, the tournament became a showcase for both established stars and unexpected challengers. Jock Hutchison's 1920 victory at Flossmoor Country Club, for example, highlighted how opportunity and timing played a big role in early professional golf. The field was often in flux, and last-minute changes were not unusual, reflecting the sport's evolving structure and the unpredictability of the era. Among the most memorable figures from these early years was Walter Hagen. Hagen's presence on the course was as much psychological as it was physical. He won the PGA Championship 5 times between 1921 and 1927, cementing his reputation as one of the game's fiercest competitors. Hagen was known for his strategic mind games. One of his favorite moves was to concede short putts early in a match, making his opponents comfortable. Later, when the pressure was highest, he'd suddenly require them to hole similar putts, turning their earlier comfort into late-round anxiety. This subtle tactic gave Hagen a mental edge in the match play format and helped him collect win after win. Despite his competitive fire, Hagen's time at the top was also marked by lighter moments. After his 1928 quarterfinal loss to Leo Deagle, Hagen famously couldn't find the Wanamaker trophy. He claimed to have handed it to a driver for delivery to his hotel. It took 2 years before the trophy resurfaced in a Detroit sporting goods warehouse. A story that added a touch of humor to the championship's lore and reminded everyone that even legends could have their slip-ups. While the drama of the matches and the personalities involved made headlines, the PGA's early years were also defined by a sense of community among professionals. The association didn't just stage tournaments. It offered a support network for its members, helping those in financial distress and assisting with job placement. This emphasis on mutual support was crucial in an era when professional golfers often struggled for steady income and respect. The camaraderie and shared sense of purpose helped to build the PGA's reputation as more than just a tournament organizer. It was a lifeline for those who made golf their livelihood. The match play format itself contributed to the championship's unique character. Each round could swing on a single hole, and upsets were common. The unpredictability kept fans engaged and gave lesser-known players a real shot at glory. But this same unpredictability also underscored the challenges facing the sport. Financial pressures, inconsistent tournament schedules, and the ever-present question of how to balance tradition with progress all shaped the PGA's early path. Even as the championship grew in stature, cracks began to show beneath the surface. The sport's rapid evolution brought new opportunities, but also new tensions. The balance between club professionals, who taught lessons and managed courses, and those who traveled the country to compete for prize money, became increasingly difficult to maintain. As more players sought to make a living on the road, the needs and priorities of the professional community started to diverge. These early years laid the groundwork for everything that followed, but the unity that defined the PGA's beginnings would soon be tested. The growing ambitions of professional players, combined with shifting attitudes inside and outside the sport, hinted at changes on the horizon. The next chapter in professional golf would be shaped by the drive for greater control and opportunity, and by the decisions that would ultimately redefine the game's future. A game-changing split, the birth of the PGA Tour. By the late 1960s, the gap between touring professionals and the PGA of America had become impossible to ignore. Touring pros, who drew the crowds and television audiences, felt that the system was no longer working in their favor. The PGA of America, with its deep roots in supporting club professionals, continued to focus on the local growth of the sport. That meant most of the new money flowing in from television contracts was being used for broader association goals, not for increasing tournament purses. Meanwhile, televised events had doubled prize money in just a few years, and the touring pros knew their star power was driving that surge. They wanted a fairer share and a bigger say in how the sport was run. The friction only grew as the 1960s wore on. Touring professionals depended on tournaments for their livelihoods and wanted venues and prize funds that matched their growing profiles. But the PGA of America's priorities didn't always align. For example, The 1968 PGA Championship became a flashpoint. Many top touring pros were frustrated by the choice of venue and the inclusion of so many club professionals in the field, which they felt diluted the competition and prestige. These disagreements, combined with the ongoing revenue disputes, set the stage for a major turning point. In August 1968, leading tour pros formed American Professional Golfers (APG) in direct response to the ongoing purse disputes and lack of control. This was a bold move, signaling that the touring professionals were ready to go their own way if necessary. The PGA of America, recognizing the risk of losing its biggest stars, entered into negotiations to find a solution that would keep the sport unified, at least in appearance. After months of tense talks, a compromise was finally reached in December 1968. The agreement dissolved the APG and created the Tournament Players Division, a fully autonomous branch within the PGA of America. To ensure balanced oversight, a 10-member tournament policy board was put in place, made up of 4 tour players, 3 PGA executives, and 3 outside business leaders, all under the guidance of Commissioner Joe Day. This new structure gave the touring pros a much stronger voice in how tournaments were run, how prize money was distributed, and how their careers would be managed. The creation of the Tournament Players Division marked a fundamental shift in professional golf's power structure. Touring professionals now had the autonomy they'd been seeking for years. For the first time, they could directly influence everything from tournament scheduling to sponsorship deals, and they could ensure that prize money kept pace with the sport's growing popularity. The PGA of America, for its part, focused more on its core mission of supporting club professionals and managing 2 of golf's most important events, the PGA Championship and the Ryder Cup. These tournaments remained under the PGA of America's control and would eventually become crucial sources of revenue and prestige for the association. While the split gave touring professionals the control they wanted, it wasn't without risk. They were stepping away from the established structure of the PGA of America and betting that fans, sponsors, and broadcasters would follow them. The early days of the new division were filled with uncertainty, but the players' gamble paid off. By 1975, the Tournament Players Division officially rebranded as the PGA Tour, fully independent and focused solely on the interests of touring professionals. This game-changing split set the stage for a new era in professional golf. With the PGA Tour now charting its own course, the sport was ready for innovations that would reach beyond the clubhouse and into living rooms across the country. The next chapter would be shaped not just by the players themselves, but by the powerful influence of television and the rise of golf's first true global icons. From TV stars to global icons, golf's golden age. Television changed the way people experience golf, bringing the game into living rooms and making its stars household names. In the late 1950s, networks began to see the sport's potential with the 1954 U.S. Open and the 1956 Masters, among the first golf tournaments broadcast to a national audience. What seemed like a gamble for broadcasters quickly paid off. Viewers tuned in not only for the competition, but also for the personalities and the drama that unfolded on every hole. As golf's popularity grew, so did its cast of characters. Arnold Palmer stood out with his bold style and connection to everyday fans. He played aggressively, but it was his attitude, approachable, determined, and genuine, that drew people in. Jack Nicklaus entered the scene as Palmer's main challenger. Where Palmer was fiery, Nicklaus was steady and precise. Their head-to-head battles, especially in major championships, captured the attention of millions. Gary Player, with his relentless work ethic and international presence, rounded out golf's first big 3. Together, they brought a new energy to the sport, and television made sure their rivalries were seen by audiences everywhere. Color broadcasts added another layer, letting fans see the deep greens of Augusta National or the wind-swept fairways of the British Open in vivid detail. The visual appeal of golf, rolling landscapes, dramatic weather, and packed galleries became part of the show. As the television audience grew, sponsors and tournament organizers recognized the sport's potential. Prize money started to climb. By 1986, purses hit $1 million at the Panasonic Las Vegas Invitational, solidifying TV's financial impact and showing just how far the game had come since its early days. The growth wasn't just about bigger checks. The way fans experienced golf at tournaments changed too. Then in 1980, the PGA Tour opened TPC Sawgrass, golf's first purpose-built stadium venue, which debuted the Players in 1982 and transformed on-course viewing. The course's design, with mounds and amphitheater-style viewing area, put fans closer to the action than ever before. The 17th hole, with its island green, became a stage for some of the sport's most memorable moments. TPC Sawgrass was more than just a new place to play. It marked a shift in how tournaments were staged and who they were built for. This era also brought important changes for the players themselves. In 1983, the Tour introduced the all-exempt system, guaranteeing cards to the top 125 players, boosting stability for professionals. Knowing they had a place on tour allowed the best golfers to focus on their game and plan their schedules, while fans could count on seeing their favorite stars week after week. This structure raised the level of competition and made every event more compelling. Leadership played a big part in golf's expansion. When Tim Finchem became PGA Tour commissioner in 1994, he pushed the sport's boundaries even further. He helped create new events that appealed to a worldwide audience. The President's Cup, launched in 1994, gave international players a chance to compete in a team format against the United States. The World Golf Championships, starting in 1999, brought together the best players from every continent. The FedEx Cup, introduced in 2007, added a season-long points race with a major payoff at the end. Each new event reflected the Tour's growing reach and ambition. Finchem also expanded the TPC network, building new stadium-style courses in places like Japan, Thailand, and China. These courses weren't just for the pros. They were designed to make golf more accessible and exciting for fans everywhere. The idea that players own these venues set golf apart from other sports and gave the Tour more control over how events were presented, both in person and on television. Golf's golden age wasn't without challenges. The sport faced economic ups and downs, changing viewer habits, and competition from other entertainment. But the combination of strong leadership, innovative events, and the enduring appeal of its stars kept golf moving forward. The foundation laid in the 1970s and 1980s turned a once-exclusive pastime into a global sport with millions of fans. As professional golf continued to evolve, each new development built on the bold moves and big personalities of the past. The journey from a handful of early tournaments to a worldwide tour was marked by vision, risk, and a willingness to adapt. This transformation set the stage for everything that followed, and every tournament today carries echoes of those pivotal decades. Professional golf's journey began with a small luncheon in 1916 and has grown into a multi-billion-dollar global industry. Each tournament showcases more than a century of progress, from the creation of the PGA Championship to televised stadium golf and the expansion of worldwide tours. The sport's impact extends beyond the course. By late 2009, PGA Tour events had raised over $2 billion for charity, highlighting golf's commitment to giving back as much as it entertains. The pioneering steps taken in 1916 remind us that every shot and every tournament carries a century of passion and vision. Hit like if you love golf history, and subscribe for more stories from the fairway.